Hey, welcome. This is The Process. My name is Dr. John Bush. This is week one Thursday night game scripts, matchups, rankings with my uncertainty levels here. Recording this and going to be inserted into the article that goes out tomorrow morning. This is Wednesday night. Hopefully nothing dramatic happens. So I combine information from Vegas. I combined information from my defense against the position data that I've been talking about in my lessons. And I do my rankings, my projections, kind of taking into account kind of what I see kind of in a vacuum. That's why I like the game script to put on top of the Vegas opinions, and then the uncertainty levels. I rule on player uncertainty levels, whether it's very high, average, or low uncertainty, and we'll go over that in just a second. So it's action packed, I think, and I'll have the Sunday data here. It's just so you can hear me explain it here a little bit, but the hard information is going to be available as well. So I call it game figures for each game we'll look at, and let's see. So I have my Vegas scoring. This is me looking out there at the Vegas information, kind of taking multiple sites and kind of putting things together and giving some ideas about who's the favorite, who's the underdog, the over and under points, the game spread. Obviously, games that have high points predicted should have more of a shootout, more PPR goodness. Games that figure to have a low amount of points will be more defensive struggles. I've got some data that I haven't ever published that do kind of fall into this, that high point scoring games, predicted games, tend to be pretty good for PPR passing, and lower scoring games are more of the rushing kind of situation there a little bit. Not defining that any more than that. So I look at anything at 49 or above, over under, to be high. Anything above average is 46 to 49. Below average is 42 to 45. And kind of 42 points and below-ish is low scoring. And again, I include the game spread. How close is it? So if it's just a point or two, then it's probably a toss-up. And it's probably whatever team is getting the ball last will have a great shot of winning. And certainly blowout games would figure that the dog will be in a bind, and they will have to go away. If they're a rushing more team, they'll have to go away from that and pass. And that actually can give you some goodness in PPR, some garbage time goodness, etc. So you have to kind of read the tea leaves. It's not perfect at all. If it was perfect, then Vegas wouldn't exist, right? We'd just be collecting our money from Vegas. And no, it's not perfect at all. Anyway, it's a place that I like to start and kind of envision the thing, and then, certainly not now, but later in the winter, if it's cold, snowing, lots of wind, things like that can affect things, certainly key injuries and whatnot. The next part of the data is defense against the position table data that I have. I call it DAPs, defense against positions, DAPs, DAP. Easy DAPs imply the best situation for a player, a group. So running back, quarterback, tight end, wide receiver, kicker, and defense. Tough DAPs would imply the worst situation. And so you need to have that in the mix as well. So a high-scoring game could have some winners and losers as far as DAPs. So tight ends may have a tough game even in a high-scoring situation. So you do need to take into account that this is, again, not something easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. And so my information is the teams, the opponent, and I kind of give an overall rating for the opponent. Home versus away, the idea is the home team should have a couple points advantage, the way Vegas looks at it. Overall DAP of any position and overall is easy, above average easy, which is AA easy, and then below average tough is BA tough, and then very tough or tough. So it's greenish to deep red, and so when you see red, that's stop, be concerned and careful. So I have an overall as well as RB. Then I present the passing, quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end kind of as a group, and then kicker and defense kind of thing. So I have the overall and not. So here is Thursday's game, Bills and Rams. We talked about this, Dennis and I, on our Data Lab podcast, and we both agree that this over-under is really tricky because Vegas is there to make money, and so they want to whip up frenzies, and putting that line out, you wonder, how real that is. But Vegas is there to make money, not to be predicting here. So the idea, Vegas says it's about a 2-point game. I think it's going to be further away than that. I think the Rams are, going to be like a field goal kind of thing. So I still wouldn't bet the over-under or the spread one way or the other. I just have concerns being a Thursday night game. Overall, here is the DAPs here. Buffalo against the Rams. That's in, of course, game one. Buffalo here. And their opponents, the Rams. You can see that. And the Rams have a below average tough defense here. So that's tough. Okay, I understand the Bills did well and etc. And the Rams are tough against the running backs. So Singletary and Cook and the rest of them is going to be tough. And look at the Rams are tough against the quarterback. They're fairly tough against the wide receiver. Knox, the tight end, actually has the best as well as the kicker. So I don't know if there's any daily fantasy that you can use that. But I guess if I had to kind of think who might have an interesting play, it might be Knox. If I'm drafted Knox, I'm probably doing some streaming, but I'm not sure kind of how I feel about that. It feels like a tricky trap game, but if all I have is Knox, then I would definitely play it there. The Rams versus Buffalo, they are at home, I think, and Buffalo is tough, extra tough. Was the toughest last year. They're against Akers and whoever else they dug up for their running backs. It's tough. And look at the quarterback, wide receiver, tight end are all extra tough. So Cooper Kupp, love him to death, but man, this is tough. So he's going to earn his treats here in this game here, and the kicker and the defense. I would not stream either one of these defenses this week at all, in case you're streaming defenses there. So see, when I see Vegas saying it's high, and I see the DAPs saying it's going to be really tough, something's not making sense. I realize that this, defense is last year's data, but I don't know if they changed that dramatically. That's how I feel. If I'm got a bankroll, I'm not putting much money, if any, on this game. As far as redraft or any, lineups, you got to play your studs, right? I mean, but it's not something I have to be happy about, right? I'm going to be chewing my nails and worried by Cup and Allen, and I've drafted those guys and whatnot. But if I could find definitely the running backs elsewhere, I would do that and, see how it all goes. Then I have my rankings table. The player, the team, the position, my rankings number. I call it Fantasy Sports Professor. That's me ranking. So I call it FSPR. And then my uncertainty level. This is based on history, based on some other stuff, algorithms I'm not going to tell you about. Hey, can't give you everything, right, for free. My rankings go from 100 to 0, sometimes a little bit over 100 when they're really dramatic. And each player is projected to have high, average, or low uncertainty. High uncertainty players have a broad range of outcomes. Low uncertainty is very narrow. And if you consider my rankings, figure that's kind of the orbit where I'm thinking the outcomes kind of settle. And then if they're really extremely high, then it could be near that, but it could be better or much worse. So be cautious on that. And so the outcomes, the low uncertainty players are thought to be tough by some. High uncertainty players are less safe for lineups or daily fantasy sports. And again, the range of outcomes I envision in my head kind of like the moon orbiting around my projected ranking that I have, and I'll give you that here in a second, and you can see that in the article. So low uncertainty, high-ranked players should be used, almost all the time, whereas high uncertainty, low-ranked players are probably never used or very rare. I understand in a tournament, kind of roll the dice, daily fantasy sport. I understand the gamble, but to me, when I'm doing my, my seasonal, weekly ranking thing, I try to be a lot more conservative. Here is Buffalo. So we see the team, the position there. DST is defense, kicker, quarterback, running back, tight end, and wide receivers from high to low. And I color that are fairly highly ranked here. The kicker's highly ranked. So I got him highly ranked, and he does have an interesting situation. I don't know if there's any money for kickers out there, but it wouldn't surprise me he gets a lot of field goals. I believe Josh Allen is one of the top 2 or 3 wide receivers. Quarterbacks. And I figure low uncertainty, even in this DAP situation, for redraft, I'm going to play him. Singletary, on the other hand, is below 50%. I'm not playing him, Cook, or Moss. And I see Cook and Moss as much more uncertain than Singletary. I guess if I had to use one in some type of daily fantasy, it would be Singletary, but I wouldn't be confident. Knox, 65, it's above 50%, which is usually you should play it, and he has a favorable. So I wouldn't turn down that play if that's all I had. If I was streaming, if my other tight end didn't have a good game projected, then I guess I would play Knox. I hate to have to guess this on Thursday night, though. I wish I had more time. Diggs and Davis. I've got Diggs as high, but ranked, but high uncertainty. I'm not sure quite what we're going to get in this game, and so that to me is, it would surprise me he does well, but if he doesn't do so well, I'm not shocked either. I think Davis is a lot more certain, but he's lower ranked, so should probably perform less PPR points. McKenzie is below average 40, so probably not using him this week, even if he is low uncertain. Crowder, average uncertainty 22. Just going to watch him as well. So, got to play Allen for sure. Probably Diggs, but I'm going to cross my fingers. Davis, if you got a better play in the flex, it depends on how many flex. If I've got some other choices, I might pass given this situation. But if I don't, or if I have one flex, or if he's the best I got, then hey, you got to go with it. The Rams don't want their defense. The kicker's okay, but it's a tough DAP. So if I can play somebody else, I would like to. Stafford is barely above 50%. He's got that injury. I want to watch this game, but he figures low uncertainty, but he's not highly ranked to me. Akers, Henderson, Kerwin Williams, I'm passing all of them. I consider them all high uncertainty, and I'm concerned. Higbee, high uncertainty at 58. Kupp, I think Kupp should probably get a touchdown. I got him at 120, but this is the toughest right out the gate. Robinson is high uncertainty, but I got him 68, so he could be really good for you, or you could be like, uh-oh. So I'm not playing him if I've got him, unless I got to. I would have to play Kupp. The other guy, I don't even know, but I got him at 5 or something. So that's my overall view. Probably down on this game, and probably shouldn't be, but this is kind of, I'm trying to stir the tea leaves here. Got to get back into mid-season form here, but this is what the data is telling, conflicting data, and that always worries me as a data hound here. I don't like where everybody's pointing in different directions. That is not what I like, the game I like to play. Anyway, good luck. I'll try to have all the other games for Sunday posted Saturday, and then Monday I should have the Monday game. Woo-woo. Please come back. I hope you're enjoying this, and I hope it gives you some things to think about, not to blindly follow, but inspire thinking. Okay, so I got a lot in a little bit of space here. Okay, and I know a lot of places just throw numbers up. Here we go. I try to do a little more than that with the uncertainty, with the data. I'm just trying to bring a little more to the game for you to envision things. I hope it helps you. Okay, this is Dr. Bush for the process, for the science of fantasy football. Woo-woo, we're having fun already. Week 1.